Hello guys, my name is Lanita and today I will be talking about the love and identity topic. First then let's discuss love itself as a discourse. So love as a discourse is the belief in a romantic and intimate utopia, and basically the existence of a soulmate, and this definition is highly socially and culturally constructed, and it is basically the desire for a lifetime partner. And this image of a soulmate is told and retold through fairy tales, romantic fiction, pop songs, all forms of media. And this idea of love is passed through generation and generations, to children's, young people, men and women, and it served to validate the notion of a traditional and a lifetime relationship, usually one that would manifest itself into marriage. And it is very interesting because marriage does not only serve as a manifestation of a romantic relationship, but it is also an increasingly a matter of identity. There is a reveal, particularly by psychological studies, that very much in marriage there is a longing of exchange um, in our partner, uh, that we are also seeking a form of identity of ourselves. In our partner we see a mirrorized and idealized image of us. It is also through relationship one gain a sense of validation. um, One also gains a sense of selfhood, and this is achieved this can be achieved through a dialogue with our partner, and in the encounter where each person seeks recognition in the other. I think something about this study and this observation in marriage very much reminiscent of Sartre. If anybody is familiar with Sartre's work, one of his most famous work, which is No Exit, where he famously claims hell is other people, um, which is, I think, one of the most uh, heavily misinterpreted quotation in philosophical work. It is not so much that our relationship with other people are always doomed to be poisoned by this, rather that we are forever entrapped in the perception of other people. So it is more of a Dante as hell rather than the traditional cartoonist image or perception of hell. So then we begin to question whether love actually exists, or is it just a concept that we make up because we associate a sense of fulfillment through a relationship, because we obtain a form or a new identity when we are in a relationship. I think this is also why that some people would claim that they lose a part of themselves when they break up with their partner, because while being with their partner they gain a form of identity that they see, and that is validated from their partner. Now, the problem that comes with the notion is that we live in a gender society all across the globe, and with that, our perception of love and relationship is forced to become very much gendered, in the sense of its binary opposition. Masculinity in a romantic relationship is often associated with control, power, superiority, as well as self management, and this pursuit of control would often leave the masculine subject to be vulnerable to rejection and the feeling of loss of control. And as a consequence, the masculine subject is often not be able to express their insecurities and their vulnerabilities, and this would manifest itself in the masculine subject such as the males. On the other hand, femininity is often depicted as the guardians of love, as the champion and the cause of love, and the feminine subject always have a natural ability to express deep emotional connections and have a natural instinct for desiring deep love and intimacy in relationship, which is why female subject that is often associated with being emotional or hysterical or irrational to its masculine counterpart. This then becomes a problem because when we try to form our identity through the eye or through our encounter with our partner, and love is such a socially vulnerable concept, we are become susceptible to a very much hegemonic definition of masculinity and femininity. We also, in a way, contribute to that hegemonic definition because we ourselves participate in the very action that stabilizes the status quo. In addition to that, because of globalization, we have become so intolerable of solitary existence. The constant ringing of the phone, your social media, have driven us to continuously seek for companion, and not because we want a sense of fulfillment, but rather we do not want to be alone. We want to fill up all the mental and emotional gap. We want to fill all the empty spaces and potentially threatening spaces in our head with a companion of a partner, despite a very much corrupted image or understanding of relationship or love. And as Lacan said, that in order to truly have a sense of self-identity, we must first recognize that we are a social being, that we are part of a society, and that we exist because we exist in the gaze of the other. It is rather a fallacy that a sense of individualism originates from within an individual, but it is rather a negation of socially embedded values. We either accept this identity or we might rebel against it. So, how is this relevant to our current situation, culturally, that is? We still see a very simple depiction and almost farcical depiction of love and relationship in our pop culture and media. There are still so many movies and films and songs and music video that still would support the traditional definition of heteronormativity, and that is easily and readily accessible for anyone to watch and consume. So, what do we do? I think it becomes clear that it is solely our responsibility to break through and make sure that we consume all types of narrative that we can obtain in order to better understand that there are several narratives of relationship, whether it is romantic or not. I think it is solely our responsibility to be reaching out and be vulnerable and open to consuming other media that is not so readily accessible to us, because these are the films that are not heavily influenced by capitalist corporation or merely serve as a cash grabber. These are the ones that would question the idea of soulmates, that follow the journey of romance and love in a different narrative, or even one that would question one's mental state while being in a relationship. A total mockery of the hypermasculine genre, or even love in the face of existential angst and dread, are movies about the very human experience and what it is like to live in a society that will not accept for who you are, even as a member of that very much society. And even something as silly as the superhero genre can very much tell a very realistic human experience if we are willing to create and look for media that wants to tell a genuine human emotion rather than ones that exist for no other reason other than to make money out of it. So my question would be, it seems like we are in a constant loop or cycle of consuming and reconstructing our identity based on the media that we watch. So the inevitable question would be, are we doomed to just repeat this cycle and pass down for generation of idea of identity, or is there a way to break the status quo? And what are we supposed to do when the images that we see are part of the problem that keep the hegemony from breaking apart? So thank you.